Dragon Ball Z was one of my favorite shows as a kid. Watching Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time, and all the Toonami reruns of the Frieza saga, such good memories. And it's so great to be able to see these familiar scenes in the show brought to life in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. CyberConnect 2 is the studio that worked on the game, and if you're familiar with the Storm games, then you know the quality of anime game adaptations that they're capable of producing. So this game is pretty much what the Storm series was to Naruto. It's a purely single-player experience though, so no multiplayer whatsoever. You have free roam sections where you're able to explore familiar landscapes like West City and Yamcha's hideout, as the game includes some surprising fan service even to fans of the original Dragon Ball. Flying is definitely the best feature added to some of the free roam areas in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They nailed this part, even if the controls do take some getting used to. Later in the game, you can use the Dragon Radar to collect Dragon Balls to take part in battles you've previously completed, which I thought was a nice little add-on of side content to do in the game. Even if it is a rehash of some of the bosses, but the bosses are... the boss fights are insane in this game, which we'll get to that later. But you can also make other wishes too, like wishing for more Zenny and stuff like that, but I didn't really care about that part. I just wanted to re-experience the fights, because that's what you bought this game for, let's be real. Other than that though, there's not much to do in terms of side content. Sure, there are side quests that give you rewards and experience, but my god, they're so boring and just not worth doing at all. Say you're gunning down the main story, having a blast, just re-experiencing the key moments in the anime, almost like a roller coaster. But then the roller coaster has a few random-ass stops along the way for no reason. If you don't want to do them though, you don't have to, so that's always nice. I mean, I would have liked some more engaging side content, but whatever. I mean, what's there is abysmal at best. Even still, in the main story, there are missions that you have to complete that are just padding to make the game feel longer than it actually is. If they had just hit the high points here instead of making the player do arbitrary tasks, then I would have enjoyed the game a lot more. The highs are high in this game, but the lows are just as low. For instance, you'd think that Piccolo and Goku going to get their driver's license would be a fun little addition to spice things up a little bit in that little intermission period in between sagas. But it's not. It kind of falls flat because you can just tell how little effort was put into the minigame that goes along with the driving sequence. You can't run into any cars, there's no real way to lose unless you just stop driving altogether, and all driving really entails is just holding the RT button. So once the novelty of, whoa, this was in the anime wears off, there's no real substance outside of the epic battles that the series is known for. But like I said, the boss fights are done really well. A lot of the attacks they do are recognizable from the show and provide a real challenge. These fights are tough. Raditz' Double Sunday is done as cool as ever, and you've got to time your blocks right or else suffer some serious damage, and that goes for a lot of the other bosses as well. Vegeta's Great 8 battle is in here too. There's way too many great moments to name here. Combat can be a bit simplistic at times though, especially when you're not fighting bosses. It's mainly just mash B to knock them away, send a Kai Blast after them, rinse repeat for damage. Combat options do open up a bit when you unlock more skills to use, so that's nice at least. There is variation, but it kind of takes a bit for the combat to flesh itself out. Another caveat though for a game called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you really play a lot as Gohan. And, I mean, the game's called Kakarot, you kind of play as Goku. There's nothing really wrong with that per se, I like Gohan. And to be fair, Goku is usually out of commission for a majority of the big central fights, even in the show, and he just kind of comes in to save the day at the last minute. So I can see why the game was developed with Gohan being a central character, especially with the series of events in the Cell Saga and the aftermath there. All in all, if you love Dragon Ball Z, you'll love this game. Yes, you may have seen it all before, but there's something special about seeing it all done so well in the form of a game, and it feels like you're right there alongside Goku. helping defeat any adversary that may threaten Earth or his friends. So, is it worth buying? Like I said, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, go for it. Otherwise, I'd say wait for the price to drop a bit. $60 is a pretty big barrier to entry for a show that's been around for 2 decades or so now, and I would probably wait until the game was about $30 to bite the bullet and make the purchase. But that's just my 2 cents about the game. What do you all think about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? Let me know down in the comments below, and subscribe for more on my thoughts on whether it's worth buying. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.